Basically, this is the unboxing of the Asta 20, and I'm really just giving my initial impressions of the light, and I actually had it for a few months before this video, so you get a little bit more detail on how I've been doing with this light. Either way, this light cost me $60 Canadian, and I would recommend this light for pico reefs about an 8-gallon cube or smaller. The light is dimmable, so you won't have to worry about bleaching your corals or that the light might be too strong. I guess you could take a look at the manual it comes with. So in here, this plastic bag right here comes with the screw and the optic. I think by default it has the 180 already on it. This has the 180-degree optic on it by default, and you get the 90-degree optic with it. First of all, other than the fact that it comes with the remote, it also comes with an extra optic. And the next thing about the marine version, just by looking at it, you can see the difference. The marine version has the COBD, or the cob, or the chip on board, has multiple different colors, while with the freshwater version, it would just be one yellow one. And as you can see, there's like 4 yellow and the 2 red, which are really distinct and easy to see. But that's the main difference between these lights. As you can see, it's very firm. It stays how you put it, even with it straight out. It doesn't bend or kink, which is really good. So the arm on it is really strong, which is really good. So you can put it how you want it, however you like your light, in whichever way. And even when it's flat out, it doesn't bend, meaning it could really hold your light really well, which is a good thing. So my initial impressions, honestly, like I said, I haven't used any expensive lighting, so I don't know what others to really compare to other than a Par 38, but I would like to point out, for the price of it and for the features you get and how this looks so far externally, I'd say it's a great deal, especially the fact that they also include a 60-degree optic. But for a nano reef, this is a really great light for the price. They really thought about the consumer. The first thing, they include a 60-degree optic. That's actually super useful. Depending on your tank size or how you like to mount your light, you could switch between the two, which is very thoughtful. Next thing, a remote which you could change color spectrums pretty simple. It's not no super high tech, but it works. Where you could change like to the next thing, waterproof attachment. Really smart idea. You know, we're working with saltwater tanks. You don't want to get salt water on there, so they said, hey, let's include waterproof connector. Next thing they did, external ballast, or power supply, my bad. Lots of people think power supplies inside the fixture is a bad thing. Honestly, I've never had a system with a power supply internally, so I have no comment on that, but it is something of concern that people have. They have it externally, so that's another good check mark. And the last thing that they thought about is the clamp. The clamp is designed to fit both rimmed and rimless aquariums. All I need to do is test the light long term. And long-term review I'll probably produce and put out in a year. And I'm also going to show you what the light looks like later on in this video. But really, what's going to make this product determine if it's really good or just okay is how the light performs long-term. And it's really simple to use. It's in the instructions, but all you do is you unscrew this. And it comes off. And this is the Optic here. The 180 right there. This is the 60-degree Optic. And the 180 is just a flat plastic cover. You just swap them out. Like so. Put it in the middle. And you screw the silver part back on. Very simple, very easy. So it's fairly simple how this light works. You have a remote here. This is the power button. The Wi-Fi and the speed don't do anything because you have to buy a controller for them. But it's not really worth it since the controller is worth more than the light. And then you're getting into a range where you're better off just buying a Kessel or something like that. But how it works is pretty simple. You have a full power button. You press that so the light's full power. Or you could select a channel and you use the plus or minus buttons to either increase or decrease the light output. So let's say increase the whites. I'm not gonna see the change that well in my camera though until I like reduce it almost all the way. So there I basically removed all the blues. So channel 1 and 2 are, channels 1 and 3 are blues. Channel 4 is full spectrum. And channel 2 is the whites. I run my light at full power. And it's the power supply. Now, this power supply, when you're using it at certain powers, it does produce a pretty loud buzzing noise, which I could find quite annoying if you're in a quiet room. So this light, I did have it for a while and I did run into a problem with it, but it comes with 1-year warranty. Now dealing with their customer service is kind of meh because you have to resolve the issue over an email and it takes quite a while to do that over email. And also, since they send you parts, it could be a negative or a positive depending on how you look at it instead of shipping back the whole light. And the reason for this is if the light is partially broken, meaning some of the channels still work, you at least still have a light to run your tank while you're waiting for the parts. But this could be a negative as it may involve you using a soldering iron to fix your light, which is an added cost that you really don't want to deal with. And why do you have to fix a light that you bought that should have came in working, basically? People like to make the comparison to a knockoff Kessel because it is pretty similar to the A80 with the output and design because they both use a chip on board and they both output about 15 watts. Now, I can't actually make the comparison between the two since I've never used a Kessel and I don't have one here. But if anyone wants to send me one, I'll happily do a comparison. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I got some more interesting things coming out, hopefully. Got FX6 unboxing. coming out soon. Still struggling with my algae scrubber. That been giving me problems. So I have a pretty big amount of algae in my reef tank because I can't get my algae scrubber going still. And I've been considering vinegar dosing skimmerless, but that's really risky, so I'm just trying to stick at the algae scrubber. And oh yes, hamster bottle ATOs. Yeah, so yeah. Basically my goal is to create as stable as possible budget reef and hopefully maybe sustain some macros in the future. But we'll see. I might even need 2 of those lights in order to sustain the macros. But if I run 2 of those lights, I would be pretty worried about bleaching my other corals. So we'll see.